Solve this rational equation. So the first thing to do when solving a rational equation is to multiply through by the lowest common denominator of all of the fractions in your equation. Since all of the denominators of these fractions cannot be factored any further, it's easy to see that the lowest common multiple of the three denominators is simply x minus 3 times x plus 3, which is the product of these two denominators or these two denominators, however you choose to see it. Okay, so let's multiply through by that lowest common denominator. We'll have x over x minus 3 times x minus 3 times x plus 3. That'll be plus x plus 1 over x plus 3 times x minus 3 times x plus 3 equals x minus 1 over x minus 3 times x minus 3 times x plus 3. So now we can cancel some factors between the numerators and denominators. So this x minus 3 will cancel with this x minus 3, this x plus 3 cancels with this x plus 3, and this x minus 3 cancels with this x minus 3. So on the left we'll have x times x plus 3 plus x plus 1 times x minus 3. Keep in mind that the x plus 1 is in brackets that are implied because it is in the numerator of a fraction. And that'll be equal to x minus 1, which is in brackets for the same reason, times x plus 3. So now let's expand some brackets. So we have x times x, which gives us x squared, x times 3, which gives us 3x. That'll be plus x times x, which is x squared. X times negative 3 gives us negative 3x. 1 times x gives us plus x. And then 1 times negative 3 gives us negative 3. That'll be equal to x times x, which is x squared. X times 3 gives us 3x. Negative 1 times x gives us negative x. Negative 1 times 3 gives us negative 3. So now let's move everything to one side of the equal sign. How about we go to the left of the equal sign? So we'll subtract x squared, subtract 3x, add x, add 3, and then we will do the same on the left-hand side. So we'll subtract x squared, subtract 3x, add x, and add 3. So these x squareds will cancel, these 3x's will cancel, these positive 3's will cancel, and then of course on the right hand side everything cancels, and that's by design. So on the left we'll have x squared minus 3x plus another x, and that'll be equal to 0. So now let's combine some like terms. We have negative 3x plus x, so that'll be equal to negative x. So we have x squared minus x equals 0. We can factor that by pulling out an x. We'll have x times x minus 1 equals 0. Now we can analyze each of these individually, since when either one of them is 0, the entire expression will be 0 since they're being multiplied together. So one of our solutions is x equals 0, and the other solution will come from x minus 1 equals 0. So we'll add 1 to both sides and find a possible solution of x equals 1. Now we're not done yet. We actually have to test both of these solutions to make sure that they're not extraneous roots. So let's substitute these values in for x in our original equation. We don't have a whole lot of space, so I'm going to do the testing for x equals 0 right here, and then hopefully in this space up here I'll be able to fit the testing for x equals 1. So let's start with x equals 0. So we'll have 0 over 0 minus 3 plus 0 plus 1 over 0 plus 3 equals 0 minus 1 over 0 minus 3. So now this will go to 0 since the numerator is 0. We'll have 0 over negative 3, which is still 0. This will become plus 1/3, so we'll have 0 plus 1/3 equals negative 1 over negative 3. So those negatives will cancel in division, and we'll have 1/3 equals 1/3, which is of course true. Now let's try our possible solution of x equals 1. And maybe we'll do that down here. So we'll have 1 over 1 minus 3 plus 1 over 1 plus 3 equals 1 minus 1 over 1 minus 3. So this will be 1 over negative 2 plus 2 over 4 equals 0 over negative 2. So the first fraction, we can move the negative into the numerator, so we'll have negative 1/2 plus 2 over 4, which we can simplify down to 1/2 if we divide both numerator and denominator by 2. So we'll have negative 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 0, and of course that is true. So we'll have 0 equals 0. So actually both of these are solutions. So our solutions are x equals 0 or x equals 1.